What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what on earth is going on with the overall markets and how this may affect Tesla's share price, as we do have a major day coming out for tomorrow as PPI data is coming out, and also Jerome Powell is going to be speaking for the first part of the FOMC meeting. I'm also going to be breaking down some major pieces of news that just came out, as Elon Musk has just dropped a bombshell for Tesla. He's talking about some areas where they may be building some new factories. So this is massive news I'm going to be talking about too. And before I say anything about Elon Musk, the overall market, and what's going on with Tesla, and what my price prediction is for tomorrow, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 6 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And you could always sell these 6 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some Tesla shares for free in this limited time offer that ends in just 2 weeks. So please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, this thing did take a bit of a hit today, down 7.1%, and it ended up dropping a little bit lower than I predicted. I mean, I did think we'd be kind of sideways for today. We ended up gapping down and pushing down even harder. But if you watched my previous video, I did go over the bearish possibility, and you would have known that we would have closed pretty close to this range if that was the case. Now, the thing about that is Tesla's in a very strange position because we didn't actually bounce off 650 in a way and kind of close there. We actually closed below it, right? And that's something that's very uncommon for Tesla or a lot of stocks. So I actually want to talk about why on earth this is kind of like a bearish indicator. And it kind of shows that Tesla does have a little bit more room to maybe drop before we see a bit of a bounce. So I want to talk about why that's important, because tomorrow is a massive day, believe it or not, for the markets. At least it's the first of 2 massive days for Tuesday and Wednesday. So for tomorrow, what's so big? The answer is the PPI report is coming out. That is the producer price index. And this just goes to show that it measures the average change over time in the selling prices received by domestic producers. So it's kind of like the other end of the CPI report, and it shows, okay, how much more expensive has goods essentially become for those producers. Why on earth is this affecting our economy too? And it's just goes to show that right now things are just not in the best of states for our economy. I do anticipate this to be a little bit high, and this will have an effect on the stock market. It won't be as massive, but it's just another indication of the changes that are happening and what the Fed needs to be doing. Now, I also want to talk about this right here. I'm sorry, June 14th through the 15th. The 14th is going to be the first part of the FOMC meeting. It's not the biggest day. I think the much bigger day would be the 15th, but the 14th, it's kind of like the preview show. Jerome Powell is also going to be speaking, I believe, in a pre-recorded message. So that is also going to be big for the markets. If he does say anything that's very hawkish, the whole market could be very choppy or even make a big move depending on what he says. So be on the lookout for that. When it comes to the actual monetary policies of the Fed, we could see this right here just as a preview for the 15th, which is Wednesday. During the FOMC, it is projected that there's like a 35% chance we're going to get that 75 basis point rate hike. And there's, as of right now, almost a 66% chance we're going to get that 50 basis point rate hike. So that's going to be very huge to be looking out for Wednesday. I'm just talking about it right now. But what's very interesting is the Fed's uncertainty is causing the market to kind of shake a little bit, because the market does not like uncertainty. If we look at this right here, according to CME Group, you'll notice the market right now has already priced in that 50 basis point rate hike, and we're starting to price in the 75 basis point rate hike because we're very uncertain about what's happening. So far, 30% of it has been priced in. So that just goes to show the uncertainty is just kind of causing this choppy price action. Now, what does this mean for Tesla going forward? I'm going to talk about Elon Musk in just a couple of minutes. First, I'm going to talk about Tesla. What on earth is going on? Well, looking at the SPY, check this out. It's just going crazy. I mean, if you actually zoom out, look at these gaps down. It had this big gap, it just dropped just a couple of days ago. Then all of a sudden, another massive gap. It's huge. I mean, for us to gap up, we'd have to go almost about 390, and we're currently at 375. So a huge gap down. The SPY is down almost 4%, which is massive for its context. Remember, normally the SPY should be moving zero point 0.4, 0.5% in either direction. We're down almost 4% in the red. That's insane. And we are kind of set for maybe a bit of a bounce a little bit later. I just don't necessarily see it happening just yet. It does look like there's a little bit more downside before the bounce comes. And it's no different for the NASDAQ as well. If you look at the NASDAQ or the QQQ, same thing. We have these giant gaps to the downside, pushing us down in fear and uncertainty. And I do believe that I can't 100% predict the future with high accuracy, or at least perfectly. But I will tell you one thing, okay? It's there's going to be a lot of stress on what the Fed is doing about inflation, how hawkish they become. And in my personal opinion, I think they should become very hawkish, because if they don't, inflation is going to get out of hand, and they really need to get something done already. Better doing it now instead of waiting even longer, because they really took too long to actually get started. So, what am I predicting for Tesla now? Where on earth is this thing going? Well, let's talk about something more bearish and more bullish. And like I said before, depending on what Powell ends up saying or doing, that's going to affect us too. But right now, I do see a little bit more downside before we continue to see some upward momentum, because we are respecting a downward trend now. It has been actually continuing over the last couple of days, and I do see this thing dropping more. So the key support zone, Tesla's currently at 647 at the time I'm recording this. If this thing drops, 633 is a potential bounce area, but I don't think it's going to be that strong. The really strong support where we should get a bounce is that 620 range, because in the past, that's where Tesla got a major bounce at 620. Now, if that support doesn't hold us, if we bounce below, I'm sorry, if we drop below 620, we are going to basically plummet all the way down to that 600, and that could be another very key range where we get that bounce. Now, if we somehow actually start to push up going into tomorrow, if Jerome Powell ends up saying something that causes the market to just spontaneously rally, and sometimes things like that can happen, Tesla has some resistance in that 650 to 653 range. It's not extremely strong, because we did manage to break it today, at least temporarily. And if we start pushing up, 680, 700, 720, those are going to be the key resistance zones to be looking out for. Now, what do I think is going to happen? What's the more bearish and more bullish possibilities? Well, I can't really predict it, because it's dependent on PPI and what the Fed does. So, like I said, I want to just go over what's more bearish and what's more bullish, and then talk about what's more likely. I do think that bearish momentum would be more likely. So, what I would aim for is, if Tesla ends up dropping and goes to like 633, it might bounce a little bit, but I would anticipate 620 to be the very key zone. You need to watch this very closely. And I do think it's very likely Tesla might get a bit of a bounce off 620, because in the past we have done that. But overall, we have this like channel we're going to start trading in between 620 and 645 to 650. So be on the lookout for that. And remember, if somehow the market is so bearish to the point where Tesla can't hold 620, that would be a bearish indicator, and this thing will just plummet even lower. But right now, I just think that's a little bit more probable we're going to hold 620. I really hope we do. If not, 600 would be the next key zone, and that's just something new that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Now, if the market starts to push up, that's also possible, but I just think that this is very unlikely, because of how on earth we're moving based off price action. If we push up, remember resistance 650, 653, we might kind of get rejected off that and try to push after that. If Powell says something very interesting, he is going to be speaking tomorrow once again, and we could actually kind of stay in this range, get rejected off 680, kind of trade sideways from here. And if we do start pushing up just like this, it's possible we actually end up filling that gap closer to like that 700 range. So just be on the lookout for that. But like I said before, this is very unlikely in my opinion. I do think that this red line right here, the more bearish possibility, seems more likely, because right now 650 did not hold up as our strong support. We could drop below that, which means that we could drop a little bit lower from here. Now, this isn't the end of the world. It's a good buying opportunity. And what I would recommend, and I'm not giving financial advice, by the way, you could buy Tesla or you don't have to. It's up to you. But dollar cost averaging is a very good way, a very good strategy to actually get your average price down because we don't truly know where the bottom will be. So you could just, if you keep slowly buying, you will be able to buy up these dips because it is a very good buying opportunity. Now, it's not the end of the world. I'm not necessarily scared. Just know that expect lots of choppy price action because of all the things that are going on and a lot of sentiment, especially considering the fact that the market is currently in bear market territory, dictionary definition bear market territory. So with that said and done, I want to talk about Elon Musk now, the man, the myth, the legend, because he was actually asked by Electric something very important. If I go down right here, we can see this right over here. Last week, the Tesla CEO held a company wide meeting with employees. Electric, it obtained a recording of the meeting, and there were people that asked some very important questions. And what happened was, Electric kind of got this. They didn't actually ask him the question. I think I said that wrong. They got the recording, and what they noticed is that people asked Elon Musk, okay, where is the next factory going to be built? And Elon Musk responded with the following quote: "We are looking at sites, but we are considering some site options more broadly in North America, so including Canada and Mexico and the US as well." So that appears to be some of their top priorities. Right now, Tesla is looking into more and more expansions. And what I wanted to talk about that's very important is the fact that when you look at what Elon Musk has been talking about, and that's the fact that, look, Tesla may not be expanding the way some people would have maybe expected it to expand on a day-to-day basis because they may see some cuts here and there, but at the end of the day, they are still expanding. They are going to keep on building more factories, and that's a massive, massive update for the company, massive, massive news. And I do think it'll be very interesting if they do end up building a gigafactory in Mexico or even Canada or another part of the US. It just goes to show that they're still on course with expanding and reaching these delivery expectations, which I think they do. Very, very bullish indicator for the next upcoming years. I also want to talk about this right here. Tesla is surprised by the demand for the Model Y in right-hand drive markets, which will increase their production. So Tesla is ramping up the production for the Model Y, and that's going to be incredible news as well because the demand is going through the roof all over the world. If we actually look at some of the things Elon Musk just said on his Twitter page, we could see this right over here. This person known as Tech AU, or I think AU is for Australia, they stated that you didn't want a Model Y this year, did you? Tesla delivery timelines have already blown out to February 2023 for new orders. The demand is going through the absolute roof. And then someone talked about this right here. This deserved more. Here's a full blog post, and they're talking about how the Model Y demand is just going through the roof in Australia. And right now, there's just so much demand. People love these cars, and when they release these new models like the Cybertruck, the Roadster, I'm telling you, even more deliveries will come than what we're seeing right now. Extremely bullish, right? People buying the cars is not the problem. The production meeting up with it is going to be the biggest challenge, but I do believe Tesla will prevail. There's huge demand, they're a massive company, and they will push through. Now, looking at this right here, Elon Musk did talk about the fact that we're working on accelerating the RHD Model Y production. Didn't expect demand to be so high, right? Very, very amazing. Some people are asking him to build a gigafactory in Australia. There hasn't been talk about that just yet, but to me, it just shows that the company is still going to do well. Even if there's a recession, it will slow down their numbers at least to some degree. And when I say that, I'm talking about how inflation is going to like be higher. So it's causing a lot of the numbers for these tech companies to not be worth as much as they would have been if we weren't in this high inflationary environment. But regardless of that, okay, Tesla's doing well. Institutions are still going to be buying these dips once the recovery comes, and the company is still strong. It's getting stronger. So, like I said before, very good dip buying opportunity. Very, very exciting, and I can't wait for what the future holds. With that out of the way, be prepared for tomorrow. I do think we're going to have a choppy day, considering what Jerome Powell may end up saying, and also PPI data. But thank you for listening. Stay strong. Just note that this is a blessing in disguise. It's not a curse, and I can't wait to buy up these dips. Thank you for listening. Tesla to the moon. Non financial advice, by the way. And peace out.